Welcome to a land where history and modernity live side by side in perfect harmony. Nestled in the heart of Europe, Belgium is a small country that packs a massive punch. Often called the capital of Europe, it is a place of stunning contrasts, where medieval cobblestone streets lead you toward futuristic glass towers. Belgium is famous for three main things that satisfy the soul. First, its world-class chocolate, crafted with a level of detail that feels like pure art. Second, its legendary waffles, which fill the air of every city square with a sweet, toasted aroma. And third, a beer culture so rich and diverse that it has been recognized by UNESCO as a piece of world heritage. But there is so much more to this nation than just its famous treats. From the diamond-filled streets of Antwerp to the fairy tale canals of Bruges, every corner of this country tells a story. Whether you are exploring the dense green forests of the Ardennes in the south or the windy North Sea beaches, you will find a culture that is warm, welcoming, and deeply proud of its roots. The country is unique because it is a blend of three different languages and cultures: Dutch, French, and German.
Often described as one of the most beautiful squares in the entire world, the Grand Place is the beating heart of the city. As you step onto its ancient cobblestones, you are immediately surrounded by a breathtaking circle of gold-trimmed buildings that shimmer in the sunlight. This massive square has been a center of trade and celebration since the 11th century, and it is so culturally significant that it was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1998. The most dominant structure here is the Town Hall, a masterpiece of Gothic architecture that was built in the 15th century. Its slender tower reaches nearly 100 meters into the sky, topped with a golden statue of Saint Michael defeating a dragon. Directly across from it stands the King's House, a grand building that, despite its name, never actually housed a king. Today, it serves as the city museum, holding treasures that date back hundreds of years. Lined between these massive monuments are the guild halls. These were once the headquarters for powerful groups like the bakers, the brewers, and the boatmen. Each facade is unique, decorated with intricate statues and layers of real gold leaf that make the square feel like an outdoor jewelry box. Just a few streets away from the Grand Place, you will find one of the most famous and perhaps most surprising landmarks in Europe. Mannequin Peace. This small bronze fountain depicts a little boy and has become the ultimate symbol of the rebellious and playful spirit of the city. Many visitors are shocked to see that the statue is only about 55 centimeters tall, but what he lacks in size, he makes up for in legend. The most famous story tells of a young boy who saved the city from a fire by extinguishing a burning fuse in a very unique way.
Another legend says he was the son of a wealthy merchant who went missing, and when he was finally found, he was happily relieving himself on this very street corner. Today, this little boy is a global fashion icon. He has a wardrobe of more than 1,000 different costumes, gifted by countries and organizations from all over the world. You might see him dressed as a traditional chef, a famous musician, or even an astronaut. There is an official schedule posted nearby so you can see what he is wearing each day. Located directly across from the lush greenery of Brussels Park, the Royal Palace of Brussels is a masterpiece of neoclassical design. While the King and Queen actually live at the Castle of Laeken on the outskirts of the city, this grand building serves as the official administrative heart of the monarchy. It is here where the king carries out his duties as head of state, meeting with world leaders and hosting grand ceremonies. The palace, as we see it today, was largely transformed in the early 20th century under King Leopold II, who wanted a facade that matched the grandeur of other European capitals. It is nearly 1/3 larger than Buckingham Palace in London, stretching across a massive front square that feels truly regal. If you are visiting during the summer months, you are in for a rare treat. Traditionally, from late July until early September, the palace opens its doors to the public for free. Inside, you can walk through the throne room, which is decorated with massive crystal chandeliers and golden walls. But the most famous room is the Hall of Mirrors. On the ceiling of this room, you will find a modern piece of art called Heaven of Delight. It is made of more than 1,400,000 shimmering green wing cases from Thai jewel beetles. They glow with a natural, iridescent light that looks like green diamonds. To capture the best view in the city, we visit the Mont des Arts, which translates to the Hill of the Arts. This historic site is the perfect bridge between the upper and lower parts of the city, offering a panoramic vista that will take your breath away. Standing at the top of the monumental stone staircase, you can look out over a perfectly manicured geometric garden with the towering spire of the town hall rising in the distance. On a clear day, you can even see all the way to the Atomium and the giant Basilica of the Sacred Heart. The history of this hill is quite fascinating. At the end of the 19th century, King Leopold II decided to transform this once crowded neighborhood into a grand cultural district. However, the project took a very long time to finish. For many years, the area was just a large empty space until a temporary garden was built for the World Fair in 1910. The beautiful park we see today was finally completed in the 1950s for another World Exhibition. This area is called the Hill of the Arts for a very good reason. It is surrounded by some of the most important museums in the country. To one side, you have the Royal Library, which holds more than 4 million books. Nearby, you will find the Magritte Museum, dedicated to the world-famous Surrealist painter. and the Museum of Musical Instruments, which is housed in a stunning Art Nouveau building made of black iron and glass.
To reach the grandest park in the city, we head to Cinquantenaire, also known as the Jubilee Park. Built in 1880 to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Belgian independence, this massive green space is a symbol of national pride. Its most striking feature is the Triumphal Arch, a monumental structure with 3 grand arches that stand over 45 meters high. At the very top, you can see a bronze statue of a chariot pulled by 4 horses, which represents the province of Brabant raising the national flag. The park is much more than just a place for a walk. It is a massive cultural hub. The U-shaped buildings surrounding the arch are home to 3 world-class museums. On one side, you have Auto World, which holds a collection of over 250 vintage cars. On the other side is the Royal Museum of the Armed Forces, where you can explore a giant aviation hall filled with historic planes. In fact, if you enter the military museum, you can take an elevator to the top of the arch for one of the most incredible panoramic views of the city for free. As you wander through the 30 hectares of gardens, you will find beautiful fountains, wide pathways perfect for jogging, and even the Great Mosque of Brussels, which is the oldest mosque in the city.
To step into the historic center of Bruges is to step back in time. Often called the Venice of the North, this entire city center is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, preserved so perfectly that it feels like a living medieval museum. The city reached its golden age in the 15th century, and because its harbor silted up shortly after, the stunning Gothic architecture was frozen in time for hundreds of years. The heart of the center is the market square, or the Grote Markt. Here you are surrounded by colorful guild houses with stepped gables that look like they are made of gingerbread. Towering over the square is the Belfry of Bruges, a massive medieval bell tower that stands over 83 meters tall. If you're feeling brave, you can climb the 366 winding stone steps to the top. From there, you can hear the carillon of 47 bells ringing out across the rooftops. Just a short walk away is the Berg Square, the city's administrative soul. This square is home to the Town Hall, one of the oldest in the region, built in the late 1300s. Next to it is the Basilica of the Holy Blood, a beautiful double chapel that is said to house a relic containing a piece of cloth stained with the blood of Christ. Looming over the market square is the most iconic symbol of the city's power and independence, the Belfry of Bruges. This medieval giant has stood watch over the people for more than 800 years. Standing at a proud 83 meters tall, it is a masterpiece of Gothic architecture that has survived fires, lightning strikes, and the passing of centuries. If you are looking for a bit of adventure, you can take on the challenge of climbing the 366 narrow, winding stone steps to the very top. It is a steep and spiraling journey, but as you climb, you will pass through several fascinating levels. First, you will reach the treasury, where the city's most important documents and chests of gold were once kept behind heavy iron doors with 10 different locks. Higher up, you will find the massive clockwork mechanism and the impressive carillon room. This tower is home to 47 bronze bells that together weigh about 27 tons. The largest bell, known as the Victory Bell, weighs a massive 6 tons all on its own. Every quarter of an hour, the bells ring out a beautiful melody that floats over the city. If you are lucky enough to be at the top when they play, you can feel the entire tower vibrate with the music. The Grootmarkt, or Market Square, is the vibrant and colorful soul of the city. For over 1,000 years, this square has been the primary meeting place for locals and traders alike. Covering an area of about 1 hectare, it is completely pedestrianized, allowing you to fully soak in the medieval atmosphere without the noise of modern traffic. As you stand in the center of the square, your eyes are immediately drawn to the rows of traditional guild houses. These buildings, with their iconic stepped gables, are painted in a variety of bright colors like deep red, ochre, and forest green. Many of them now house cozy cafes and restaurants where you can sit on an outdoor terrace and enjoy a bowl of traditional mussels and fries while watching the horse-drawn carriages clip-clop across the stones. In the middle of the square stands a large monument dedicated to Jan Breidel and Peter de Koninck, two local heroes who led a famous uprising against the French in the year 1302. Their statues remind everyone of the fierce, independent spirit that has always defined this city. On the eastern side of the square, you will find the provincial court. This stunning building looks like a medieval palace, but it was actually built in the late 19th century in a style known as Neo-Gothic. Known as the Lake of Love, Minnewater is one of the most romantic and tranquil spots in all of Belgium. Tucked away at the southern edge of the city, this rectangular lake is surrounded by a lush green park that feels like it belongs in a storybook. Weeping willow trees lean gracefully over the water, and elegant white swans glide past ancient brick towers. The name of the lake comes from a touching and tragic local legend. It tells the story of a young woman named Minna, who was deeply in love with a warrior from a neighboring tribe named Stromberg. Her father did not approve and tried to force her to marry another man. To escape her fate, Minna fled into the forest, but she eventually died of exhaustion in her lover's arms by the water's edge. To honor her, Stromberg buried her in the bed of the lake. Today, it is said that if you walk across the Lake of Love bridge with your partner and share a kiss, your love will last for eternity. As you wander through the park, you will see the Puddertoren, a massive stone tower that was once used to store gunpowder. It stands as a reminder of the city's ancient defenses. Nearby, you will also find the entrance to the Beginhof, a peaceful courtyard of whitewashed houses founded in the year 1245. While many travelers head straight for the bigger cities, the historic center of Ghent is often called the best-kept secret in the country. This city offers a perfect blend of medieval power and a vibrant modern atmosphere. What makes this center so special is its incredible skyline, dominated by the three medieval towers that stand in a perfect row, cutting a dramatic silhouette against the sky. The heart of the city is the Grossley and the Korenlee. These are two opposing stone quays along the river Leia. Back in the Middle Ages, this was the busiest port in the region. Today, it is arguably the most beautiful spot in the country. You can sit along the water's edge and look up at the ancient guild houses, some of which date back to the 1200s. Each building features unique carvings and golden details that tell the story of the wealthy merchants who once lived here. Connecting these two quays is the St. Michael's Bridge. From the center of this bridge, you can turn in a full circle and see a breathtaking view of the towers, the river, and the castle. It is widely considered one of the most beautiful photo spots in all of Europe. Rising directly out of the water in the middle of the city, the Gravenstein, or the Castle of the Counts, is one of the most impressive medieval fortresses in the world. This massive gray stone castle looks exactly like the ones you see in movies, complete with heavy battlements, a deep moat, and a powerful keep that towers over the surrounding streets. It was built in the year 1180 by Count Philip of Alsace, who wanted to show the people of the city that he was a powerful ruler they should respect. The design was inspired by the massive castles he saw in the Holy Land during the Crusades. For hundreds of years, it served as the home of the counts, a mint for making coins, and even a courthouse and a prison. When you cross the heavy stone bridge and pass through the gatehouse, you are transported back to the Middle Ages. You can explore the winding staircases, the cold stone halls, and the open-air courtyards. One of the most famous parts of the castle is the Museum of Torture, located in the former dungeons. It holds a chilling collection of historical instruments used to extract confessions, reminding visitors of the darker side of medieval life. But it is not all grim history. As you climb to the very top of the castle walls, located in the heart of the city, St. Bavo's Cathedral is a breathtaking masterpiece of Gothic and Romanesque architecture. With its towering stone walls and a spire that reaches nearly 89 meters into the clouds, it serves as the seat of the bishop and a symbol of the city's spiritual history. The cathedral was built over several centuries, starting in the 1300s, and it stands on the site of an even older wooden chapel from the 10th century. The interior of the cathedral is a treasure trove of art and history. As you walk through the grand nave, you're surrounded by high vaulted ceilings, intricate marble carvings, and a massive organ that is one of the largest in the region. But the true reason millions of people visit this sacred space is to see one of the most significant works of art in human history: the Adoration of the Mystic Lamb. Painted by the brothers Hubert and Jan van Eyck in 1432, this massive altarpiece is a masterpiece of the early Flemish style. It consists of 12 panels that are famous for their incredible detail, vibrant colors, and the revolutionary use of oil paints. It has a dramatic history of its own, having been stolen by Napoleon, hidden during the World Wars, and even being the subject of a famous unsolved theft of one of its panels in 1934. Today, it is kept in a high-security, climate-controlled glass case within a dedicated visitor center in the cathedral. To see the most picturesque spot in the entire country, we arrive at the Grassley and the Korenlee. These are two opposing stone quays that line the banks of the River Leia in the center of the city. During the Middle Ages, this was the bustling harbor of the town, and today it remains a favorite gathering spot for locals and travelers who come to soak in the incredible atmosphere. On the Grassley side, you are treated to a stunning row of historic guild houses that look like they were plucked straight from a fairy tale. One of the most famous is the Gildhuis van de Vrije Schippers, or the House of the Free Skippers, built in the early 1600s with a magnificent facade that shows the wealth of the sailors who once traded here. Next to it stands the smallest house on the quay, which was once a customs house where taxes were collected on every shipment of grain that entered the city. Across the water, on the Korenlee side, the architecture is equally grand, featuring buildings that span several centuries, from Romanesque to Gothic, and even some from the 18th century. In the middle of the river, you will often see small electric boats filled with visitors enjoying a guided tour of the waterways. The best way to experience these quays is to do as the locals do. On a sunny afternoon, the stone steps are covered with people sitting by the water, enjoying a cold Belgian beer or a coffee. The view from the nearby St. Michael's Bridge provides the perfect angle to see both sides at once, with the reflection of the ancient stones dancing on the surface of the river. Frequently voted as one of the most beautiful railway stations in the entire world, Antwerp Centraal is often called the Railway Cathedral. When you arrive here by train, you aren't just entering a transport hub. You are entering a masterpiece of architecture that was designed to leave travelers in absolute awe. The station was built between 1895 and 1905 under the instructions of King Leopold II. The king wanted a building that reflected the immense wealth and power of the city during the height of the industrial age. The main hall is a grand space filled with more than 20 different types of marble and stone, creating a rich texture of colors ranging from deep greens to soft pinks. As you look up, you will see a massive glass and iron dome that reaches a height of 75 meters. This dome was a feat of engineering at the turn of the century, allowing natural light to flood the interior and illuminate the grand stone staircases. To your left and right, you will notice the intricate gold leaf decorations and massive clocks that look like they belong in a royal palace rather than a train station. One of the most unique features of this station is its layout. Most historical stations are flat, but here the tracks are spread across 4 different levels. This allows high-speed trains to pass through the city underground, while local trains arrive on the upper platforms under a massive iron roof that stretches for nearly 200 meters.